Splitting net wins in two. How much of your guys' value is actually defense? This is an update to the net wins formula. Thanks for listening to netwins.substack.com. Subscribe for free. The formula hasn't changed. The question has. Net wins has always been built from one combined number: player net actions, points, rebounds, assists, blocks, and steals, minus missed field goals and missed free throws and turnovers and personal fouls, allocated to a player by his share of the team's total scaled to actual wins. That number is never distinguished between a bucket and a block. A 56-win season built entirely on scoring and a 56-win season built entirely on defense look identical once they land in the same column. Every term in that formula sorts cleanly into one side of the ball or the other. Points, assists, offensive rebounds, and the misses and turnovers that offense generates all belong on offense. Defensive rebounds, block steals, and the fouls spent trying to get a stop all belong on defense. So I redid the formula just by splitting it up, but it doesn't materially change it. Add them together, you get back exactly the same number the site's always used. It's not a new stat. It's the old one split down the middle, which means offensive wins and defensive wins fall out for free on both sides. As a sanity check, I ran on the example in the net wins database with Cade Cunningham's 25-26 season, and it ended up exactly the same. So even though SGA won the MVP this year, Jokic actually finished just ahead of him on net wins at 13.1 to 13.02, which shows exactly why voters had such a difficult decision. SGA's numbers almost entirely on offense, while nearly a quarter of Jokic's comes from defense, where the box score usually shortchanges him. Wemby sat number 3 overall without being a top 20 offensive contributor at all. 4.32 of his 11.41 net wins came from defense alone, the highest defensive number in the league, on a team that otherwise had very little margin to work with. Thanks for listening to Net Wins. This is public, so feel free to share it. It's at netwins.substack.com. Sorting by defensive wins instead of the combined total surfaces a different list and rewarded different players. So Wemby, Jokic, Holmgren, Gobert, Jalen Johnson, all the people that you would think would have the best defensive numbers, including rebounding, are at the top of it. Bam Adebayo didn't crack the top 20 in overall net wins because Miami's offense wasn't good enough to convert his production into a big combined number, but by defensive wins, he's top 10 in the league. And the reason for showing a split is a player's defense can be excellent even when the team's seasoned, and therefore his overall net wins number's not. The only blind spot is that it doesn't necessarily mean that somebody who gets a high defensive wins number is a good on-ball defender. Best example being Luka with 2.46 defensive net wins because most of that's rebounding. So the best offensive players by a number were SGA, Jokic, Luka, Murray, Durant, Brunson, and so on. Another way to look at it is what share of net wins did somebody get on defense? So the single most defensive leaning players in the league, like Jalen Williams, Andre Drummond, or Robert Williams, get about 42% of their value just from defense. That ceiling isn't a coincidence. Points alone is a bigger number than defensive rebounds, blocks, and steals combined for almost every player in the league. So pure counting stats will always tilt the formula toward offense. Nobody's going to show up here at 70-30 defense. So you look at that list, which is accompanying with this article, once again at netwins.substack.com for the full list. The split doesn't change anything about the underlying limitations of the net wins stat. A player's number is still anchored to how many actual wins the team produce, and still can't isolate individual defense from scheme or teammates any better than the combined version could. But what it does fix is the thing that was bugging us all with the all D version of this idea a few weeks back. Instead of forcing a choice between give a player credit for his team's real defensive results and give a player credit for his own individual stat line, This keeps the whole thing anchored to real team outcomes while saying which side of the ball actually earned it. The full database has been updated at willf123.github.io/NBA-net-wins, and there is a link to it from the netwins.substack.com page. The NetWins formula and all written content are original works. All rights are reserved. Once again, I appreciate your time.